Hey everyone, it's Mr. Canfield. Today we're going to look at how I actually 3D print something you sent me. In the last video, we made a dream house together. This is my dream house. I wonder what your dream house looks like. Maybe it looks different. Maybe it looks exactly the same. So what I do is I have a couple 3D printers. One of them is called the FlashForge Finder. The other one is called the FlashForge Adventurer. So you'll notice that this box that you see that it's sitting in is the print area. And so right now, this fits pretty well in the print area. So if I just were to click print now, and just kind of go with all my default settings, which as you can see, there's a lot that goes into these settings. And I've spent a ton of hours getting the settings just right so that these actually work. But I click print, and you'll see for the Adventurer, it made this little extra bit on the bottom. They call this the raft. It helps it stick to the build plate. But you can see up here, it says estimated print time, 5 hours, 22 minutes. Estimated material, 17.81 meters. That's how much filament it's going to use. And over here, I can actually show you what's going to happen. So it's going to start out, and the first layer is just going to be this. And then each layer that takes minutes and minutes, it's going to go and this is what it's going to draw with the 3D printer. And so you'll see this honeycomb shape on the inside. That is called the infill. And I usually do what's 15% infill. And so what the computer does is it takes any solid pieces and it hollows them out, and it only fills in 15% of that empty space. The reason it does this is it saves tons and tons and tons of filament. And it still keeps it a strong material in the end. You'll see over here, it's building up the word house. So when it's building this word house, it's actually going to run into a couple problems. The first problem is, so look here. Look along here. See, this is where it is. Look at the very next layer. What happened? That piece, it has to print out into empty space. Anytime the 3D printer has to do that at a perfectly flat angle, it's going to struggle because it's used to having to put it on a flat surface, and instead it's printing it out into nothing. And so usually what happens is we get some oozing here and some dripping, and it doesn't look very good. So we're going to need to make supports. Otherwise, this isn't going to print quite right. So that's one of the things that I have to do, is just make decisions about where to put supports. Here's the other one. Oh, this is the really bad one. That carport that we made, you go from nothing to this whole thing. That's really, really hard for a 3D print extruder to put down. And so actually, because of this, I'm not going to print at this angle. I'm actually going to print differently. So check this out. If I was going to print this, and I'm not going to, I don't have any desire to actually print this in real life, but I'm going to print most likely, I'm going to have the least problems if I print like this. You know what? No, I'm going to have just as many issues in there. I have just as many problems. What if I do this way? What if I do this one? That might not be as bad. Drawing blocky structures, printing blocky structures like this is generally you're going to have some trouble, but the computer supports, and I'm going to make these robust supports on this. That green stuff you see there, is this easily removable material that the 3D printer will print. It makes it kind of lighter, and it's easy to rip out. So it prevents some of those problems. So that's one option I have. Another option be to do it just, the default that we were thinking. And that carport is going to be really tricky to print well. So this is something to keep in mind when you're designing in the software, in Tinkercad. We don't always just want to make exactly what we're thinking about. If we realize, oh wait, that's a lot of overhang, that's going to be a huge problem to 3D print. I wonder if there's a way that I could design this differently. And something that people do often is they'll go back to their design, and we're pretty far in on this one, but like if I do a whole bunch of ungrouping, something you could do is you could take your carport. If I printed that separately and then glued it on, I would be able to print this upside down like this. This is a super easy print to do. And then the house is going to be a lot easier to print as well. So it's the kind of thing where sometimes we'll need to separate things to make it a more sensible print. Ooh, it changed color. The color doesn't matter. So, hope this video was interesting or helpful, and can't wait to see what you come up with. Bye!